Hello, hello! Perfidious Pete here, back and biding my time in preparation for some additional adventures deep in the cruel caverns and wicked warrens of Perfidious Manor as we continue our playthrough of Darkest Dungeon. On our last little trip into the Darkest Dungeon, we made our way down into those same wicked warrens, set them ablaze, burned through them like a wildfire, and left the entire realm of the Swine King charred into a smoking ruin. Which turned out to have some nice unexpected benefits for us, since not only is that fat bastard dead now, but we also managed to return with a substantial supply of smoked bacon. And if there's one thing in this world that's more satisfying than slaughtering an eldritch swine monster, it's eating the rich, deep, savory, wood-smoked bacon produced from his corpse. Delicious. But our culinary triumphs aside, we've still actually got quite a bit of work in front of us before the old manor is completely patched up. The hag, of course, still lurks somewhere down in the dark heart of the Weald, and we have yet to get any of our seekers to resolve rank 5, although a couple are making pretty steady progress towards it. But if our ultimate goal is to bring down the 3 big bosses, we're going to need a more resolute A-team than even Stephen J. Cannell could have dreamt up. And, of course, we need to make the patented wah-wah, wah-wah sound there, of course, to honor Stephen J. And you can't see it, but yes, I did just rip a piece of paper out of my typewriter and fling it into the air. And yes, I also do have a typewriter at hand, because I like to keep ridiculously obsolete machines nearby to remind me of my own inevitable obsolescence. Which arguably has already arrived and settled upon me, but I digress. What we really should do is probably get to work, if only to distract me from the impending breakdown and dissolution of my frail mortal shell. Thanks for reminding me about that, Stephen J. Cannell, although you're also dead, which I guess is even a further reminder, so fuck me. Anyway, let's get to work here. Nice little memento mori moment there, inspired by Stephen J. Cannell. Yeah, it's delightful. Alright, so let's take a look and see what missions we've got. We don't really have any upgrades. Sort of our key focus right now, we do need to upgrade the blacksmith. And for that, we're going to need between, well, 49 deeds. Exactly. We have 5. So we'd like to see if we could get our hands on some. Let's see what missions we've got. Now, apprentice missions are out of the question because, as you can see, we currently only have 3 rank 1 troopers. And since we're saving up deeds, we can't really afford to enhance our roster. We need the deeds for the blacksmith more than we need extra seekers that not necessarily are going to be doing anything. Not really into having these guys just loiter around the hamlet. They'll get into all sorts of trouble. Especially you, Randolph Carter. Yeah, I got my eyes on you because you may be Yog Sagoth. So, you know, don't think I don't know. I see you reading those occult manuals and chanting as you wander around the hamlet, invoking the outer elder abominations to come and take possession of your frail, fleshy shell. I know how you work. We can't bear the thought of going back down there. Yeah, your 2 stress is really overwhelming, you fucking whiner. Anyway, apprentice missions, off the table. Likewise, champion missions, also off the table. This mission is to kill the hag, which we really... It has potential. I wouldn't mind killing the hag, mostly because it does give us 6 deeds, but I would like to hold off on that one until we get a chance to upgrade our weapons a little more. So that really just leaves us 2 options. We can either do this long veteran mission in the Weald, or rather in the estates, the ruins. I'll get it right eventually. In the ruins, this trinket is not good. It's okay. It's not fantastic. I don't really like to use an abundance of stuns, so it's not really critical for me. If we had a plague doctor, it might be worthwhile. As it stands, though, I don't really think that's necessarily the best use of our time. We do have a short veteran mission that's portraits. We still need some portraits, and the gold outlay is not terrible for that 5,000. I think we're going to take this short mission, and what we may do is do a little bit of upgrades. And then what we'll also do is try and drag... I'm thinking Arya... Well, not Arya Stark. She's way too much stress. I'm thinking we might try and pull Dorian Gray through this and help buff him up a little bit. So let's head back to town very quickly. We're going to go to the guild. We're just going to upgrade Dorian's skills to make sure they're where they need to be. We also should probably visit Dorian with the old blacksmith here. I have a feeling, yeah, he could use some equipment upgrades. Get that sorted. And then for the rest of the team, it's going to be level 3, guys. So I'm thinking probably Deckard. Let's take Deckard to the guild and the blacksmith as well, just to make sure that he's in top fighting trim. You know, we can go ahead and upgrade Deckard. He's been a solid trooper for us. I have a feeling he's going to be around for a while. Not going to be off chasing replicants anytime soon, so we're going to go ahead and... You know what? Do we full upgrade him? I don't think we upgrade him to rank 4 yet. That's probably not wholly necessary at this time. Yeah, We also kind of need to conserve money. We have some other troopers that could use those upgrades more. Specifically, Chrysania also needs weapon and armor upgrades, so we're going to bump her to 3. She should be fine on skills. I believe all her skills are... Yeah, we're actually, in fact, going to rank up her skills. And that'll just lead us needing some manner of tank, and I'm thinking... We're either looking at the Murph. Murph, your skills are already ranked, right? You have 3s across the board, and 3s in armor. And we could take the Murph. I think we will take the Murph in effort of conserving money. I was considering also maybe taking Brienne, whose skills... Wow, her skills are all sorts of gimped up, actually. She doesn't even have Iron Swan or Bleed Out. What the hell? Yeah, okay, so Brienne's skills are a fucking mess. That's something we'll address at a later date. Just in the interest of time, I think we'll go ahead and take Murphy. Also, Murphy does have the... Face it, Murphy has the better pendants. You know, I was saying Murphy has the better trinkets, but now that I look at him, I'm actually not so sure. Those lower Murphy's overall damage. She has a 10% damage penalty with a huge bonus to bleed. I don't necessarily think that's entirely worth it. Do we have some... We have a Hellion-only item somewhere, right? Plus 10% bleed skill, minus to crit. Well, that's not really what we're looking for either. Candy, what are you toting? Oh, you've got those badass Hellion's pendants. Yeah, we're going to take those and give those to Murphy instead, because these things are fucking sweet. I really do like having a Hellion with a bunch of health, if only for the very particular reason that it gives them an abundance of opportunities to use food. Food will heal them for a lot when they have a maximum. Your healing amount is based on your maximum hit points. How much you heal from food is based on your max HP. The troopers with more max HP, of course, heal more. Wait, that's checking out who we want. What is wrong with me? Man, I'm just like, why is Brienne even on the list? Get out of there. We're not taking you, we're taking a Murph. Man, I'm all discombobulated messing with trinkets. It really... I can never remember to do it right, and it always puts me off on the wrong foot. I'm like a kid who just got slapped at the dinner table. I just don't know how to react. Not that you should slap your children at the dinner table, but, you know, if they're being a little shit-ass, a good knock upside the head once in a while can do you some good, am I right? Yeah, no, don't strike your children. Alright, then. So that's got the Murph sorted. Django, I think... Now, we were going to take Deckard. Wow, Deckard actually now has better skills and equipment than Django. We should probably rectify that sometime in the near future. Got that taken care of. I believe we were going to take Dorian Gray. Yeah, that's fine. Dorian, get your portrait. Get your ass in gear. And then for our final unit, I don't see any compelling reason at any rate to not take Chrysania. Although we are going to go visit... I believe Madeline has the item that we want. Yeah, we're going to need to borrow this scroll again, if you don't mind, Madeline. I'm telling you, this scroll gets passed around like a hooker at a gangbang. It's just all over the place. So we're going to give that back to Chrysania. There we go. Alright. So we are locked, loaded, and ready to roll then into the dungeon. Chrysania probably going to make rank 4 on this mission. Kind of ignominious to take her into a short mission, but it's got to be done. We need somebody who can heal this shit pile, so let's get to work. Food. Gonna go light on the food. I think I'm gonna go with 16 food. I mean, we're not camping, so really this is only useful for heals. We're gonna keep it kind of light. I'm gonna take 3 shovels, though. 1 medicinal herb, 1 bandage. You know what? We'll take 1 of everything. The question now is torches. Let's take... You know what? We're gonna go real light on the torches as well. We're only gonna take 8 torches. So this will be a sort of dark, sort of starving run. Let's hope it doesn't burn me. Every time I've sort of made this gamble in the past, we've wound up starving and wandering around in the darkness. Starving and Wandering in the Darkness would be a great title for an album as well, by the way. Like, for the Smashing Pumpkins. If you're watching Billy Corgan, not that you are, but if you are, you know, consider Starving and Wandering in the Darkness as your next album title. I really think that sort of fits right into your wheelhouse. It would be wholly appropriate for you. It could be the sequel to Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness. It could be Starving and Wandering in the Darkness. Anyway, we got surprised. That's unfortunate. That's okay, though. I'm sure our boys can dig us out of this hole. Just trying to figure out what the best possible way to do that. You know, I think the way to start that off might be with a mark. Or we could just go for the facial stabbing. I mean, facial stabbing is always a solid option. That's just a general rule for life. Consider that. I mean, if you're in troubles and things aren't going your way, consider a good facial stabbing. You'll find it often solves a lot of the problems that you encounter as you travel through this crazy mixed-up world of ours. A good solid stab to the face can often, you know, make even the naughtiest of problem a non-issue. Little bump in the night, Deckard getting walloped upside the head, Chrysania taking a nice stab in the neck. No bleed for Chrissy, so we're still okay there. I think we'll go... Let's just go ahead and go for the weird reconstruction, because Dorian Gray can't really do anything else. It's going to patch Rick Deckard fully up. We'll go for If It Bleeds, because it's a gladiator, and of course he doesn't bleed, so I guess we'll try and bleed something that's unbleedable. Difficult to bleed when you lack a vascular system, but guess that's a particular hurdle that this bone conscript faces on a daily basis. It's not a new challenge for him. Deckard with a nice dodge there. We had to go for the group heal there, of course, the single target heal not available from the second position, and really that swap with just those two getting swapped back to front really kind of hurt us. Murphy with a familiar kill, and Deckard stopping things off with a nice critical for a little bit of cheap stress relief. Alright, so that turned out pretty well. Gotta say the treasure was not fantastic, but we did pick up 3 deeds, which we very much need, so it could have gone considerably worse.
Finding the stuff is only the first test. Now it must be carried home.
Yeah, that's fine. We're all about it, narrator. As you can see, we have plenty of fucking inventory space left, so you don't really need to concern with our ability to carry our treasure home. I'm more concerned with our ability to find treasure, because we haven't come across a lot. 850 gold so far in 3 deeds. It's not exactly like we're walling around in money like fucking Croesus over here. In we go. Alright, so no fight in here, but we did get a scout. That's good. Solid, we can make use of that intel. We don't really need to go this way. Alright, I'm going to do something a little strange here. I do want to hit this. A rack of blades. I'm going to try a bandage. Aha! So that's what you use to get a rack of blades. It's a bandage. Excellent. Now, I'm going to do something I don't normally do, which is backtrack. We're actually going to walk backwards here. We're going to go back in this door. I'm just going to try and avoid this fight. Wait a minute. Do I want to avoid fights? You know what? No, I'm an idiot. I was thinking I would just go back around and come up and over, but we got to explore 90% of rooms, which means we have to go to this room anyway. And also, fights are just potential chances for loot. I'm not really worried about our troopers losing in this place. They're pretty well equipped for this level of dungeon. I mean, it's a short, appropriate level, but it is a short dungeon, so EXP is the reason we came. Fighting is going to help procure more EXP. So avoiding fights is actually probably exactly the opposite of what we need to do.
And purpose is made clear.
Then again, I've never made a mistake I wasn't willing to make in my life, folks. I take it as a personal challenge to myself, oftentimes. Be like, that's the stupidest thing I've ever seen. Be like, oh yeah, well watch this. And then proceed to do something titanically stupid. Well, one thing we can say about old Deckard, the guy sure as hell doesn't bleed a whole lot. More face stabbings from Dorian Gray. Not sure why the cultist, I always say, stabs in the face, but it's probably because of the animation. It really does look like he's shooting right for the fucking eye holes on these little skull masks. You guys would fit right in with the Imperium of Man, though. A lot of skulls. It's sort of a motif of theirs. Gonna go for the big heal here on Deckard. And that just leaves little Karen Murphy, who is gonna bleed this piece of crap. That's fatal damage if the bleed sticks, and it did, so that's one dead cultist enchantress. Dorian Gray getting rent for the old gods, but it doesn't matter. It's just a slice in the portrait for Dorian. Let's go ahead and throw a stun at this guy. Ah, it worked. Excellent. Not big on the stuns, but I do quite like Flashbang. We're going to go for the group heal here for Cressania. That should patch up just about everybody back to full, and then it's back to work in the face. Dorian Gray, he really works the upper body hard. He's not a body blow kind of puncher. He really works the upper deck. He's a knockout guy. Not a solid swing there, Murph. What's wrong, Murphy? You feeling okay? I mean, usually you're a little more deadly than that. Everything all right at home? Dresden not giving you any trouble, is he? That Dresden's a good guy. I wouldn't say he's giving you trouble. Alright, well, let's just go ahead and see if we can get the kill then with a little judgment. And we can indeed. So Cressani is going to mop up the rest of that trash. Get a little bit of stress relief for herself. And this was a fine haul. Portraits and deeds, both of which we need, and 1,000 gold in sapphire form. That was a good little roll. I'm glad we came into this fight. It was, in fact, the right answer. Oh, shit. Dorian Gray being commanded by the spirits. Apparently, anything that's even portrait-shaped, he can't resist investigating. Of course, those scrawls were dull and uninteresting, so guess it must have been a Mark Rothfield. Rothfield? The Colorfield painter? Mark Rothko. Never mind. Must have been a Mark Rothko painting. So that's what I'm looking for. Mark Rothko was a Colorfield painter, which means that like he would paint a canvas and it would just be all red, for instance. I don't understand Coverfield paintings. It's very meta. I like art, but I just, that one, don't get it. Who's going to disarm this trap? I'm thinking, well, it could be Dorian Gray, actually. He's 30%. What do you like, Deckard? At 60. You're arguably better at it, so I guess we'll have you take a shot. Why are we collecting ourselves? Oh, well, okay. So Dorian Gray apparently foresaw that, knew it was coming, and was trying to warn Deckard off, but Deckard just wasn't having any of it. That's the way it goes, Deckard. He's got a big head, quite an ego on him. Ever since he hooked up with Sean Young, I'm telling you, you can't tell that guy anything. This is not good. This is actually quite a difficult fight. So what's our best method of approach here? We're not going to stun this guy. He's hugely stun resistance, but we might get a stun on... Well, actually, they have the same stun resistance. Did we kill the pig boy? I don't think so, actually. He's going to have too much... Let's try and stun the swine. I would much rather kill the ghoul than the swine. Mostly all the swine's going to do is just damage. So we got to get a mark on this guy. That's definite. And Dorian Gray pulling out the critical on his lowest damage attack. Nicely done there, Dorian. Couldn't have done that earlier on one of those face stabs. Alright, so let's go for the bleed out. This guy can't bleed, can he? He can, he's just resistant. That's fine. Let's see if we can get him started. He resisted to bleed, but we still got 11 damage out of it, which is fine. The Howling Man. Howl, man, howl! I saw the best minds of my generation destroyed by madness. Coo, 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 coo. Allen Ginsberg, we hardly knew you. Mostly because you were a beat poet who didn't really get famous until well beyond your productive years. So another slice there from Murphy, 11 more damage. We're going to stack that bleed double time, and this is a good opportunity for Deckard to collect the bounty. 18 damage, that's solid. That may be fatal damage on the ghoul, except he's not bleeding because I'm an idiot and just assumed that the bleed worked both times, and in fact it didn't work either time. So let's go for the group heal. Everybody's at least a little dinged up here. Got some hail damage on the guys. We may have to file an insurance claim on them later. A little marks and dings. On the plus side, the resale value of them has just gone straight through the roof. We're going to hold a hail damage sale. It should really help clean out the cars we've got stacked on a lot. Nice stab to the face there from Dorian Gray for his customary 6 damage. Seems to be sort of the rule for Dorian. It's 6s across the board. Bleed and a debuff there from Candy. More stabs to the face. I'm telling you, Dorian, he's working the upper body like a champ. Only 5 damage from the Murph. She is well debuffed at this point. However, that's okay, though. Deckard's going to mop up the slop and throw the rest of that pigman in a bucket. This mission promises success. We're not even halfway through this, Mr. Narrator. Sometimes, I'm telling you, this narrator guy, I'm thinking he's got some mental health issues. He's at the minimum a little bipolar. Not that there's anything wrong with that, I'm saying, just pointing out. This guy's emotional swings are fucking just wild and hugely unpredictable. It's darkest despair and death and crushing awfulness forever one moment, and then the next it's pure optimism and like, oh, we're kicking total ass, everybody's gonna be fine, these things are going fantastic. Make up your fucking mind, Mr. Narrator. At least, you know, come up with a consistent sort of story. Nice shot from Deckard. I was hoping we would get the 11 damage hit there. On the drawback side, we were going to try and abyssal artillery, and we can't really go for that now. Let's go ahead and get these swine spawn out of the way, though, because, as you can see, Murph's stress is getting a little higher than we'd like. And any puking these guys might do in Murphy's direction could have very dire consequences for the Murph, so we're going to try and get rid of those gentlemen as quickly as we can. This is almost assuredly a kill. And that guy hasn't gone, so yeah, that's the right move. Takes care of him. I think we go for the stun, actually. What's your stun resistance like? The pigs is pretty good. The swine spawns is not good. So we're going to go for the light, bump our torch level a little bit, get the spawn on the... Get the stun on the swine. It gets the stun on the swine, or else it gets the pine again. And by that, I guess I mean we're beating it with a board if it gets the pine again. I was just looking for a rhyme. Frankly, I was desperate for a rhyme. Also, Desperate for a Rhyme would be a great title for a rap album. Somebody should get on that. Will Smith, Desperate for a Rhyme. Actually, in this instance, Will Smith, actually, at this point in his career, may legitimately just be desperate for a rhyme. I think he's had a big hit album since, like, the Wild Wild West soundtrack. Dorian Gray doing a little damage. Deckard with a nice 11 damage follow-up. We're not going to get this guy this round, so we're probably going to take another swing from him. Or Karen Murphy could just slice him in half with a nice bifurcating blow from that halberd she carries.
So too will
It's not a complaint,
resistance.
by the way, Murph. I'm just pointing out what happened. Of course, we used our bandage to rip open a weapons rack. I think we're going to go to every room in this one except for this one. I think we'll go to the remainder of these rooms. This is just a fight, though. Is it worth it? Could be treasure. Let's do it. Books. That's a Dorian Gray job. Stack of books, Dorian. What do you got? An unsettling passage. But you don't care because you're an occultist, and apparently... I meant to stop and disarm that, Deckard. Nicely done, buddy. We can't eat any more... Well, yeah, we can. I was going to say we can't really afford to eat any more food, but we can. I was worried about hunger prompts. Not going to eat any more food after this, though. Hunger prompts are still a possibility. We haven't had one yet, in fact, so that takes them beyond possibility and into the realm of likely. We're also getting a little low on torchlight. I think I'm going to use our last torches. And some of the end of this may then be full-on darkness, which is fine. I wouldn't mind hitting that treasure room in the dark. That's going to enhance the treasure possibilities. We could use a surprise here, and luckily we got one. We're a little under-leveled, and these large corpse eaters are no fucking joke. I'm very tempted to actually try and kill the Swinotar first. They do more damage. They also have more health. I think we're going to actually do this. So we're going to have Dorian Gray put the mark on the Swinotar. Nice critical. Dorian apparently loves to critical that attack. Not entirely sure why, but I also don't really care. 14 damage and probably a bleed for the Swinotar. Nope, no bleed, just the damage. Deckard, collect that bounty. You can't collect the bounty because that guy is too far back. Alright then, I guess we'll finish him. Shang Tsung is not impressed and will not be finishing shit. We're going to go for the big heal on Dorian Gray, lest that corpse eater just swallow his ass whole. Missile artillery probably would do less damage than just a good facial stabbing. I think probably our best bet's to go ahead and just vulnerability hex that guy again. Got him marked. He resisted a debuff. That's unfortunate, but he is marked. So let's have Deckard do half of his health in a single swing. How to best employ Chrysania. I think, again, probably big heal is still the right move for Chrysania. Keep the cleric healing. Never going to go wrong in that case, as long as you've got your not DPS guy doing the support work that needs to be done. 9 more damage on old Swiney the Swinotar. Man, we cannot seem to get a bleed off with Murphy. That really hurt. That was like 38 total damage. That, yeah. That was a pretty punishing blow. On the plus side, it did move our Swinotar friend to the front, where Deckard can start working him over with the bounty collection. He's not bleeding. Let's just kill him. I do not want to take another one of those giant AoE damage attacks. Oh, the stress on Murphy. It's getting pretty unpleasant, Murph. We should probably do a little wield reconstruction. Or weird reconstruction, rather. I don't necessarily think we want to rebuild the wield. We've been working on slowly dismantling it and killing the ruling pig people, so we probably should maybe not reconstruct that. Focus our efforts on perhaps an area more deserving. You know, like the waterfront area. It's been downtrodden. There's been some economic downturn there, but there's a revitalization movement to recover the waterfront and make it a shining example of what it's like to be in a modern city. How about a bleed here, Murph? Still no. These guys, they've got more clotting agents in them than a hemophiliac who's just had major surgery.
They can be beaten.
Whatever it is that you guys are using as a coagulant, shit is working real well. Should stick it into some vampires and blade, like Steven Dorff style, and see if they explode. So we're headed back down this way then. Just going to recover a little bit of old ground. Again, I think we are completely out of torches, right? Yep, we sure are. So whatever's left in this dungeon, we're doing it in the dark. We already checked those. We're going to get at least 2 more options for item interactions, and then we have 1 shovel to dig our way through the crap. Hey, congratulations, team. I'm really pleased with these guys. The last time we came across a wagon full of diseased fucking body parts, we had to stop twice so that half-cocked Jack could gnaw on a fucking severed human foot. I'm very much enthused with the fact that none of you saw a cart full of rotting bodies, including a giant severed foot just poking out of the top, and decided to stop and gnaw on them. We're still going to eat them, of course, because that's what we do. We eat corpses.
Paid for in blood.
But at least we purified the meat first. We didn't just go straight tucking in. Cleanliness, right up there next to godliness, folks. Right there. I mean, it's just a fucking micron away. Dig through the rubble with one of our 2 remaining shovels. Gonna have Deckard take a shot at this trap. Deckard 0 for 3 in the trap department.
Ambushed by foul invention.
Well, it wasn't really an ambush, Mr. Narrator. We knew it was there, and we also knew that Deckard was a fucking idiot. It's questionable. You know what? The ambush may have been, Mr. Narrator, in that we trusted Deckard. We weren't ambushed by the trap. We were ambushed by our faith in Deckard. That he might, for once, fucking actually disarm one, but... faith can be a treacherous thing. I mean, you can never be betrayed if you don't believe. Alright, Dorian. Occult Scrawlings. We've got a bunch of shit. Let's just throw everything at this. So, don't put holy water on those, I guess. Oh, minus 20 dodge. That really sucks. Alright, well, so, no holy water on Occult Scrawlings. Those two things do not mix. That's good to know. Go together about as well as your current girlfriend and your ex-girlfriend, which is to say, not well. Not well. Alright, we did get to surprise here, so this fight should be reasonably easily taken care of. Let's go ahead and finish him on the Enchantress. Stress is more a focus here than damage. It looks like we're probably going to wind up having to put some focus on stress relief anyway, but them's the breaks. Little kill shot there from Murphy with the Iron Swan. Nice dramatic pose from the Murfster as well. We do love it when she gets all martial artsy. What's your stun resistance? Pretty good. Let's just go for the Judgment then on the Hulking Swinotar. Try and get as much damage on this gentleman as we can as quick as possible. We're going to mark him, of course. Vulnerability Hex from Dorian. Got the mark and the debuff. Nice.
How quickly the time.
Of course, every hit we're going to take in here is going to be a critical because stress is really the only thing we're concerned about. So, of course, stress is also the only thing we're going to find. Take 5 damage from Chrysania. And that brings back the Murph. I think we're going to go if it bleeds. 14 damage. And we did get to bleed. Excellent, Murphy. Trot, retreat. That is a stun, I believe, and I don't know as I've ever actually seen it work. 17 damage while Deckard collects his bounty. And we will go for... just stab him in the face. Not sure Dorian could actually reach his face. Also, that guy's wearing a helmet. I'm not sure how good the stab him in the face plan is going to work, but, well, it worked well enough, I suppose. Clearly, we should have stabbed that guy because his face much more vulnerable and down on Dorian's level. Should have kept stabbing at that. We're going to take all of that stuff because we can carry all of it. And we do still have a key. Don't need to unlock, of course. The one time I trust an heirloom chest to be an heirloom chest and not mess with it, I don't use the key, and of course it bites me in the ass. Still, for a short mission, a pretty reasonable haul of gold here. We got, what is this, about a little over 5 grand, more like 7,000. Deeds and portraits, which are the two things we needed. That's actually quite good, I'm glad. We've looted 5 portraits, 6 deeds, and I don't see any real reason to stick around. We have one more unexplored room. I don't really feel like backtracking all that way and fighting for, like, 2 interactables in an empty room. So out we go. We did get also 2 bonus portraits for doing the mission. So all in all, 11,600 is a pretty decent little haul from a short level mission. No complaints. Got a good number of portraits out of that. Can likely afford an upgrade now. And some Resolve EXP. Not as much as we would like, but we did get enough to get Dorian Gray to this next rank, which is what we were looking for. He also picked up Hatred of Eldritch, which is fantastic. Could use that against the Hag. Slayer of Unholy, again, also very good. And Backtracker. Okay, solid. We got positive quirks across the board. Nothing negative. And Chrysania, of course, making Resolve rank 4. We may need to send Chrysania in for a little stress relief. She's a titch higher than I would like. So let's resort by level. It's going to bump everybody back up. And with that taken care of, I don't really see anything else on our table. We're still waiting to pile up some deeds. We don't really need to do any upgrades or maintenance. We could have spent some crests and busts perhaps on the Abbey and whatnot, but we didn't get any, so I'd rather not use any. I'd also like to eventually get... the reason I'm saving up crests, I'd like to upgrade our Nomad wagon so we can start buying trinkets if the opportunity arises. But with that all taken care of, nothing else to do, I think we'll go ahead and wrap things up. Of course, if you enjoyed the episode, feel free to drop a like down in the comments section. Your support does mean a lot to us. And if you'd like to see more Darkest Dungeon 3 times a week, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, consider subscribing as well. For now, however, thanks very much for watching. We'll see you again soon.